So I want you to imagine something. Picture being the most powerful person in the world. You're the Roman emperor. Armies march on your command, and an entire civilization is looking to you for guidance. Now imagine that same person, alone, late at night, writing not for an audience, not for history, but for himself. A private journal just filled with his own anxieties, his frustrations, and really practical advice on how to be a better person. Well, that person was Marcus Aurelius, and that journal is what we now call Meditations. It's this incredibly raw, honest look at one of the greatest minds in history just trying to be a good person. So today, we're going to unpack this emperor's secret guide to life. Okay, right from the jump, Marcus lays down this core idea of his entire philosophy. What he's saying is, think of it like there's a firewall between the outside world and your mind. Stuff happens out there, that's a fact, but whether that stuff is good or bad, whether it hurts you or makes you happy, that's a judgment. It's an opinion that we add on top. The event itself, it's completely neutral. And you know, what makes all of this so powerful is that Meditations was never, ever meant to be a book. It was his private journal, just a series of exercises and reminders he was writing to himself. I mean, think about that for a second. The emperor of Rome was actively practicing day in and day out how to be a better human. This isn't some polished philosophical argument. It's a messy, behind-the-scenes look at a brilliant mind in the process of self-improvement. So what was he building with all this practice? Well, his first and most important project was what he called an inner citadel. Just imagine a fortress inside your own mind, a place of absolute calm and clarity that can't be touched by all the chaos outside. It doesn't matter if it's a disaster on the battlefield or a betrayal in your own court, nothing can get in. The control center for this whole fortress is what he calls the ruling part. This is your core consciousness. It's your ability to reason, to choose, to make judgments. And here's the key. While pretty much everything else might be out of your hands, Marcus believed this part of you, your will, your judgment, is the one and only thing you have absolute, total control over. And this is where his thinking gets really, really strict. He draws a hard line between what we can control and what we can't. Now, it's easy to say, sure, my opinions are my own. But what about your reputation or even your own body? Marcus says ultimately those are external. Yeah, you can influence them for sure, but you can't fully control them. People are going to talk. Sickness can strike out of nowhere. And he believed that wasting your energy trying to command the uncontrollable is the root of almost all of our anxiety. And this quote right here is the practical result of that whole idea. Let's say someone insults you. The insult itself is just words. It's an external event. The actual harm comes from the internal opinion you form that says, wow, I have been wronged. Marcus is telling us that if you can just choose not to form that opinion, if you can see the words for what they are, just sounds in the air, then the feeling of being harmed, it just vanishes. Okay, so once you've started to secure that inner citadel, what's the next tool in the toolkit? It's all about perspective. Marcus practiced this mental exercise that we can call the view from above. It's basically a way of zooming out from your immediate problems to see the much, much bigger picture.
So let's try it right now. First, we zoom out on time. He reminds himself that a whole human life, with all of its drama and passion and worry, it's barely a blip in the vastness of history. Everything you're stressed about right now, it exists inside this tiny, fleeting moment.
Now let's zoom out even further, into space. Your life, your fame, your anxieties, they all become just one little part of an infinite universe. He had this powerful image he used. Imagine you're a single grain of frankincense on a huge altar with thousands of others. Some grains fall into the fire sooner, some later, but to the universe, it makes absolutely no difference at all. And from this incredible vantage point, you start to see the universe for what it really is, just constant, unending transformation. Everything is always in flux. And how you experience all of this chaotic, beautiful change, well, it all comes back to the one thing you actually have control over. Your opinion. Now, this is crucial. This perspective isn't meant to be depressing. It's actually meant to be liberating. The heroes of yesterday, they're forgotten. Your mistakes, they'll be forgotten. Your biggest triumphs, they'll be forgotten too. And this frees you from the crushing pressure of fame and the fear of failure, and it lets you just focus on doing the right thing right here, right now. So, we've fortified our mind. We've gained some cosmic perspective, but Marcus doesn't want us to just float around in space. He brings us right back down to earth. The third tool is all about understanding our purpose, which he believed is fundamentally social. It's about working with and for other people.
And he was incredibly realistic about this. This isn't about pretending everyone is amazing. It's more like a mental prep session. He literally starts his day by expecting to run into difficult people, not to become cynical, but so that he isn't surprised or angered by them. That way he can deal with them rationally and for the common good. He illustrates this with one of his most powerful metaphors. To act against another person, he says, is as unnatural as your left hand refusing to help your right, or your upper eyelids refusing to work with your lower ones. It's a violation of our very design. We are literally built for mutual support. And this all leads to a really simple but profound conclusion. We are all part of the same human family. Our nature, our whole purpose, is to care for each other. So to get in someone's way, or even to just get angry at them, is to act against your own nature. So how do we bring all of this together, right? It's not about just thinking these thoughts, it's about putting them into practice. It's about doing the work every single day of being a human being. So here it is, the Emperor's Toolkit, boiled down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, reclaim your mind. Focus only on what you control, your judgments and your actions. Step 2, find your perspective. Zoom out and remember the vastness of the universe. And finally, step 3, do good for others. Use that clear, fortified mind to act for the common good, because that is your ultimate purpose. I want to leave you with the same question Marcus Aurelius asked himself almost 2,000 years ago. In the morning, when you're struggling to get out of bed, when your motivation is just gone, he asks, were you made to huddle under the blankets and stay warm, or were you made to get up and contribute? Are you unwilling to do the very work you exist for? It's a challenging thought from an emperor who, despite all his power, knew that the real battle was always within.